Is L actually Kira? Now, to find out if L is actually Kira, first we gotta find out what makes someone Kira. What characteristics does a person have to be qualified as a valid Kira? Now, the word Kira comes from the word killer in Japanese. But the issue with this is that we didn't see L kill anyone, so how could he be Kira? The thing is, L did kill someone in the series, and it was pretty obvious. But we'll get to that part later. First, we gotta analyze the second characteristic of Kira. Now, the term Kira came from the public after a Light was abusing the net node to kill all these criminals. Now, because of this, the public saw Kira as a sense of justice, which means that the sense of justice is associated with Kira. If you pay close attention to the characters of the show, you will notice that Light has the sense of justice. He can be Kira because he wanted to be a police officer. His father is a police officer, therefore the justice is within him. L also has the sense of justice because he's a detective. He's working with the police to solve the quote-unquote Kira case. So that just means that Kira can either be L or Light, right? Well, not really. You see, Misa also got the death note, and when she got the death note, she wanted to find Kira. Therefore, she pretended to be Kira. But L gave her the name of second Kira, which means Kira cannot be one person, but Kira is a title. And if we put this even further, we can notice the big three Kiras. Light, he is the Kira that popularized the word Kira. Then we got Misa, she is the wild card of the group. And finally, we got Teru Mikami. You can also call them the protagonist Kiras because the series followed their POV. However, with every protagonist, you have an antagonist, L. And with how much they share in common, we can only conclude that the antagonist Kiras consists of L, Nier, and Mello. How do we prove that L has a motive to be Kira in the first place? Well, since the story takes perspective of the protagonist Kiras, we can't really tell what the thoughts of L really are. However, we can tell what L can be based on evidence. Well, first of all, L knew that Kira could kill by using their names and their faces. Now, how could he know this exact information word for word? Perhaps he knows something or some method that we don't know, or that we know that we don't know that he knows. And you might say something like, yeah, he's a real smart detective. Okay, fair point. But I can debunk that right now. Because look at this scene right here. L looks at Light in this very sinister way when they first met. For L to know that Light is definitely Kira at this exact moment in time, L would have to have something that only a Kira would have. If you look at this screenshot right here, you can see that L is actually looking slightly upwards at Light. Usually when you look at someone, you don't look upwards, my friend. And you know why L is looking upwards? It's because certain Kiras have the ability to find out who's a Kira just by looking at them. Yes, L has the Shinigami eyes. Now, I know you're terrified, I know you're in shock, but take deep breaths right now. You calm down? Great, let's continue. That's right, L saw that Light has no name on the top of his head. Therefore, L knew that he was a fellow user of the notebook. Now, one thing that the series make very clear is that anyone who uses his Shinigami eyes has their eyes change color when they're entering the Shinigami mode. Whenever Misa uses it, it turns red. Whenever Teru uses it, it turns red. That is because they're protagonist Kiras, and protagonist Kiras are on the red side. And in comparison, we can see when L enters his Shinigami mode, his eyes are blue, which is even more representing that he is the antagonist Kira, because red is always versus blue in media. And at this point, I gotta give props to the author of the series. We did not notice the subtle detail. Genius writing, as one may say. And what does the Shinigami eyes do to the user? It cuts their lifespan in half. And if you pay close attention to the series, you can notice that L actually has his lifespan cut in half. Because first, Death Note has two parts. And second, L died in the first part of Death Note. And if you do basic mathematics, 1 is half of 2. Therefore, L halves his lifespan with the Shinigami eyes. And something that makes this evidence even stronger is that Light dies at the end of the series, which means that he uses the full lifespan that he was given. Because he was so close to L, they're basically equals. If Light got the Shinigami eyes, he would die around the same time that L died. Now, this just leaves us with one question. Who did L kill? And if you were listening, we would find out that L killed one person, himself.